Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Interact podcast. My name is Josh Hanum, co founder and CEO at Interact. I'm here with Sandra D, who is a digital product coach, teaches people how to sell digital products on YouTube and on social media. I'm excited to chat with you about that. But I found you because of your quiz, which is a YouTube creator style quiz. I am the how to creator. Tell us about the quiz, why you made that, and how it's worked for you as a lead magnet, and we can start from there.
Yeah, so just a bit of a background. I've just had so many people tell me that quizzes tend to perform really, really well in terms of conversion rate for lead magnets. And I'm part of this Facebook group, and someone that I know brought up the fact that they just created a quiz and their conversion rate is like through the roof. So I'm like, okay, let me see what I can do here. So I did a poll on Instagram asking people what they are currently struggling with right now if they are considering creating a YouTube channel for their digital product business. And most people, I had like four options, and two of them were the most popular. So one of them was, what creator style am I? And a lot of people overthink what style of videos they should create. So that's kind of how I came up with the idea. And I had a few different options. There's the visionary coach, there's the storyteller, there's the how-to pro, and then there's the thought leader. So I'm a how-to pro. But I thought that was really, really fun. So that's how I came up with that idea. And because that quiz went so well, I decided to create a second quiz. I don't know if you've seen that one, but basically it's about what's holding you back from YouTube success. And that was something that people voted for as well. So I created that too. And that's doing really well as well. So basically it was on feedback from my audience.
That's perfect. How have those done? You don't have to share specific numbers if you don't want to, but how have they done as far as lead magnets?
So good. So I was actually, before we hopped on this call, I wanted to check the conversion rate for both, and they're both over 60%, which is wild. And I've only shared it like a couple of times on Instagram. I haven't even promoted it yet on my YouTube channel, which is where I get most of my traffic from. So I've created like a couple of Instagram reels, and that's where most of my traffic is. I think I've added the links to them in a few of my YouTube videos, but because I don't mention it verbally in those videos because they're older, it's not going to bring that much traffic yet. But yeah, it's crazy. Like how many people have already gone through it just from a couple of Instagram reels.
What were the reels about? Like, what are you talking about in the reels?
So the one that I have pinned right now because it's the most popular one in terms of just traffic to it. I basically say, I can't remember the exact text, but I say something like, if are you questioning what type of content you would share on your YouTube channel to help you stand out from competitors in your space? And then I say, comment the word, I think it's creator or style, something like that, and I'll send you the link to the quiz. And I typically have that automation in my Instagram reel. So that's basically, it's literally as simple as that. It's just B-roll of me drinking coffee and just text and comment this word, and you can figure out your creator style.
Wow, that's so cool. I'm so fascinated by the reels going into the quiz because that's like what everybody's doing that's successful this
Mhm.
year as far as like promotion is typically just reels into quizzes, and it's my mind from like a 2012 creator when we launched Interact 2013 cannot quite comprehend this. So let's get into that if you're game because you help people with Instagram and with YouTube. What does it look like these days? Like, what are you thinking about when you go to create a piece of content that you do want to promote your business, but like we all know you can't just go and do that on social media the way that you could with a blog post back in the day where it's like, here's how to do X, and X is literally what your business does. And so it was kind of like obvious, like, well, do it this way and then use my tool. How do you do it now?
I always start with my analytics. So before I create anything now, I always take a look back to like what Instagram reels and carousels have been performing best for me. And then I do the same thing for my YouTube videos. I don't publish many shorts right now, but I share a lot of long form content. So the first place I go is what's performing really well right now. And then I'll go into comments, I'll go into my DMs and see like what are people asking me, and I'll use that as my content ideas. That's the first place I always start off with. And what I prefer to do now is I don't necessarily sell from my post. I provide value and I get them on my email list. So I tip, like in every single video, I always mention in the description box, I have this lead magnet, this guide that will help you do this, this, and that. And after that, I have a few emails that will go out the next, week or two, basically warming them up to what I have to offer. I do the same thing on Instagram Reels. So again, I will guide them to my quiz or my free guide, and now they're on my email list and I can nurture them. I always say you have to provide value before you sell anything, because truly that trust and those relationships are what eventually convert into sales. So hopefully that answered that question.
100%, 100%. And I know a lot of our audience is thinking about these same things. And obviously, if they really want to go really into it, they would work with you directly. But what does your process generally look like when you're sitting down with a client and you're thinking about, okay, how do we get you set up so that you're driving consistent traffic that turns into customers from YouTube, from social media for your digital products?
Yeah, so right now my main focus is within my program that helps people get started on YouTube. And what I like to say is, like, what you're passionate about is important, but it really does primarily rely on your skill and expertise and what's unique about your experience. And I'll help them go through, creators within your niche that are doing well, kind of figuring out what video topics are performing well on their channel. If they don't already have an audience themselves, this is a great place to get started, to brainstorm ideas that they can cover on their own channel. Like I mentioned, I like to look at comments on my videos, but people that are just getting started, they don't have that yet. So they can go over to other creators' content and scroll through their comments and see what people are asking. So basically trying to get into their target audience's like brain so that they can figure out exactly what to create that will attract them. And then after we've brainstormed all of these ideas, then we'll kind of put together their content plan. So it'll be 4 to 5 videos that they're going to set up as a playlist. So basically all of these videos will be relevant to each other. And that's kind of how we get started. We'll map out the first or next 4 to 5 videos that not only will nurture their audience, especially based on the research that they've done, but will eventually guide them into their email list. And we're also going to figure out what free guide they can create for their audience that not only will be super valuable to them, but will naturally guide them into their paid offer.
That makes a lot of sense. It connected back to what you said earlier about the creator styles. So what you're laying out there as far as like the plan for creating the content all sounds very simple. Like great. Like that's a perfect plan. But it sounds like there's resistance from people, I would imagine. Like what I guess the question I'm asking is why are they getting stuck on like what's my style? Why is that the question that keeps coming up?
I think a lot of people, first and foremost, are I don't know what the word is. Like they're kind of scared to start a YouTube channel. I've talked to a lot of people that they're very hesitant, and they know they can have a great impact and they know they can reach a lot of people, but they're worried that their content is not only not like it's not going to perform well, and it's not going to stand out because they're worried that the space they want to go into is just too saturated. And I like to think of like your niche is you. So there is no such thing as a saturated niche when you are truly sharing your unique perspective, right? And that all comes down to your unique stories, your unique journey that you can share with someone else. And in my program, I teach that there are a few different ways that you can teach inside your videos. You can be, like I mentioned, the how-to pro. So it will be very like step-by-step tutorials on how to do something. You could be the storyteller where you're sharing one lesson learned through a story. You can also be a hybrid. So you can share, and this is kind of like what I like to do. I'll share like, little stories here and there as I'm going through a tutorial. But yeah, I just think that people really question themselves a lot and try to like determine like, are people even going to care about what I have to say? And how can I stand out? What if I spend all of this time and no one's going to watch my content, right? So I feel like just getting their foot through the door and telling them, no, you actually have a lot to share. And we'll start off with how you can show up for your audience. This is the first step.
Yeah. So a question that came to mind as you're talking, do you think that it's more about reaching your personality or reaching your uniqueness that eventually is the thing that kind of pops it off where the channel starts to really work for you? Or is it just about showing up consistently? Or is it both? Like in your experience and working with clients, who do you see like getting through to the point where they're like, wow, now YouTube is a channel that I could not live without? Like, what is the combination of factors that is the commonality of the people that make it through?
I find that a lot of people that are, I would say, getting through the entire program and actually seeing tangible results are people that are coaching something. So it's something that they might already have a product or they have a product in mind. So they
Hmm.
either have maybe a membership or a type of ebook they want to sell, and they want to get it out there. So it's someone that and I consider myself like an type A personality, and it's usually those type of people that just love to follow instructions. They love having like a clear structure, because that's how they like to work and that's how they like to teach. So yeah, it's usually the consultants, service providers, and coaches that, again, they know they have something to offer, or they already have something that maybe they want to improve on, and they know they need to get their voice out there and attract the right people to their product. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. And then do you jump over into the product side of the house and help people think through that piece of it as well?
Yeah, I love that you asked this, because so in my program, it's a 6 module program. And in the final module is where I go through exactly how to figure out what digital products to sell based on the feedback you're already getting from your videos. But I'm actually launching a new live course this December about how to come up with your digital product idea first. So this is mainly for people that they are still questioning if they want to start a YouTube channel, or they just want to have a digital product idea that's guaranteed to sell, and then they can kind of determine how they want to promote it. So after, like, once I launch this in December, I'm more so going to go into exactly what you need to include in a digital product in order for it to sell. And then I'll go through the marketing and the messaging. But yeah, so currently, as the program stands, we focus on that in module 6. And we basically let our audience tell us exactly what they want, because that's exactly how I personally started.
That's a very smart way to do it. Um, in general, like what are the types of digital products that are doing well for 2025, or we're about to go into 2026?
Definitely educational resources. So, what I like to focus on now is ebooks and so workshops and digital courses. Even if it's a mini course, that works really well too. When it comes to like an ebook or maybe even a template bundle, I always like to still view it as like like an interactive experience rather than just like a PDF guide. So instead of like a 10-page PDF guide that you could probably get for free online, I highly encourage people to include resources alongside the ebook. So, for example, one of my top performing ebooks, it has tutorials in there. So, clickable links where you can access tutorials, access templates, and it's more interactive, and it just really helps people implement the strategies that you're teaching. So, I used to talk a lot about selling printables and wall art, because that's how I first started, like art designs, planners, and things like that. And those are okay. I just find that there's so much more perceived value in an educational resource. So that's what my main focus has been this year and moving forward.
And it sounds like it's more involved now. Like I'm thinking back on, the heyday of all this stuff, 2018, 2019, a lot of those ebooks and courses, which is just kind of like a blob of a PDF that hardly anybody ever looked at or used, and they were paying hundreds or thousands of dollars for this thing. But what you're talking about is 2.0 version of that, where it's like, no, it's actually like an interactive course. It links out to specific tutorials. And are you seeing more people also like doing some sort of follow up where there's like a community or some sort of access to the coach paired with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with what AI is today and where it's going. It's getting harder and harder to build trust with your audience. So I find now if you can offer some sort of support, even if it's like a private Facebook group or like an online community where people can still access you for help, some advice, some questions, there's definitely much more value in that. And it really will encourage people to take that step with you. So absolutely, just because it's so much easier now for anyone to create a quick PDF guide and try to sell it for $20, $30. But when you can add in your personal touch, um, it just takes it to another level.
I'm glad you brought that up because that is something I've started to kind of see from the outside. And I'm curious what else you're seeing along those lines in terms of like coaches in 25, 26, 27. What is it that's really catching people's attention, whether it's in the content they're creating or in the products that they offer, in this age where you could go to ChatGPT and ask a bunch of questions about nutrition? Why would somebody choose a coach, or what are you seeing as far as the reasons why somebody would choose to work directly with a coach now that we have that option with ChatGPT?
Okay, there's three things that came in my head, and I was going to write them down so that I don't forget them. But let me try. So the first thing is simplicity. So I find that the more simple and like raw you can make it, the better. And I want to give an example of a couple of free guides that I just launched. I know they're free, they're not paid, but it honestly works the same way with paid. I literally spent like a weekend or something putting together this free guide. I just used a Google Doc and I typed it out in a way that was like as if I was talking to the person. It's the most like non-chat GPT like guide that you can read. Um, and I launched it the next day and I had over 400 people sign up, which is a lot of people for a new guide that I just launched over. I think I used like a couple of stories and then a couple of Instagram posts. And again, this is another one that I still have not promoted on my YouTube channel because it's so new. And then I did another one, same exact thing. I think I may have used ChatGPT just to like edit some of the paragraphs for grammar. That was it. But everything else came from my voice directly, exactly how I speak. And that one already has over 1,000 email subscribers. And I'm getting so much like so much positive feedback that people are just loving all the value that I crammed into it because I did not put any pressure on myself to make it perfectly written. I just wanted to share what I know. So that's the one. That's the first thing, making it simple and more like unique to your voice. Because with how much AI there is now and how much people use it, people are almost like craving that like human connection, right? So that's the first thing. Oh my gosh, what was the second thing? What was the question again?
Like
the,
what are the patterns that are setting apart coaches in
oh,
the
okay,
age where
okay.
you
I
could
got it
go
now.
to ChatGPT? Yeah.
Yes, okay, sorry. So second thing
Yeah.
was sharing your unique experiences. So actually talking about like how I did this. This is how I did this, as opposed to looking at what everyone else is doing and trying to replicate that. When you can share your unique perspective on what you have done, that's what people are paying for. They're not paying for how someone else did something or how ChatGPT can give you the steps on doing something. They're looking for how you did something, especially when it's a transformation. Like people are specifically looking for a transformation. And I feel like when we hear the word transformation, we think it's like life changing. It has to be something that completely changes our life. And it can be, but it could honestly be something so simple, but it's still a problem that we're trying to solve that a guide or a course can help us solve that. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is being incredibly specific on what it's solving, like very, very specific. So instead of saying something like I don't know, how to raise your toddler. I don't know. I have a toddler, so that's where my mind's going. Instead, you can create a guide on how to introduce solid foods to your toddler, or how to manage your bedtime routine with your toddler, something like that, like something much more specific. And we could probably do even better than that. But the more specific we can get, and again, it ties back to your unique experience on how you have solved something, the more people gravitate towards it. Yeah. So hopefully that makes
I
sense.
like this a lot. I mean, I'm just picturing in my head as you're talking the outputs that you get from ChatGPT. And I even saw an ad from them yesterday where it was like a workout program thing and they put it on the screen. So they wanted it to be this way, but I saw it and it was just like this wall of text. Like, if you want to do more pull ups, then do this and then this and that. And it's like so long.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think I even want to read that on an ad, like much less in real life. And so I like that you laid that out that way where it's like it's simple, it comes from personal experience, and like it just gets you where you want to go. Like it
Yeah, and I love that you brought that up because when I talk about simple, it's like you want to make something super efficient and as short as possible. Like you don't need to create like a 20 module program to make it seem valuable. People don't have time. Like I've bought tons of courses. My favorite ones are the ones I can see it'll only take me an hour or two to go through. Now, of course, there are courses that are just more robust and more comprehensive and it requires more time. But again, if it's something specific that I'm trying to solve, I want to go through it as quickly as possible because I just have too many things going on. Otherwise, I'm never going to finish it. Like I've purchased very expensive courses before and I still have not fully gone through it. So I haven't even gotten the results yet because I haven't had time. So the more efficient you can help someone get from point A to point B, the more, again, people will gravitate towards it and actually get the results.
I saw this funny meme the other day. It was an electrician giving an itemized bill, and it was like cutting the wire 1 cent, knowing which wire to cut $999.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I think that's where we're getting to with content, and it's funny, kind of looking back at the last 5 years and AI coming on the scene. It's like, yeah, it kind of did. I think highlight that a lot of content, a lot of courses, a lot of coaching stuff was this very verbose, word dumpy kind of thing that wasn't really unique. And yeah, that is going to be completely gone if AI can do the same thing.
Right.
But where the AI cannot go is like a simple, concise, story based, relevant, gets to the point, gets you what you want. It's a 1 hour course that you're paying $1,000 for because getting that course to be 1 hour instead of 100 hours took 10,000 hours. And
Right.
so that's, I like that a lot. I like that framing because I think it really gives a lot of words. Because in our industry, I don't know if you've seen this, like a lot of coaches from 2018, 19 that were making a lot of money dropped like 90% of their revenue and they never came back. And so it seems like this new wave is on board with what you're saying, where it's like everything they do, very simple, very concise, delivers value immediately. Not that those old coaches were not. I just think that they didn't make the shift to being to brevity. Like brevity is the
Right.
new thing that you have to do.
Right.
And it has to be like story based and somewhat entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that also comes to mind is when people create a digital product for the first time, they put a lot of pressure on themselves to get it absolutely perfect. And the reason I bring this up is because even with my program, I love my program, it's great, but I am already thinking about version 2 because I want to trim it down. And it just kind of reminded me of like how we're talking about making it shorter and helping people, like basically streamlining it and helping people get to that finish line quicker. But what's great is once you launch your product and you get even a few founding members to go through it, you can take that feedback and start cutting out the things that either they found confusing, they didn't find really relevant, it kind of stalled their growth, and make it even better, right? So it just got me thinking of the fact that even for me, like I've been selling digital products for over 5 years now, and I still do this. Like I still go back, I talk to my previous customers, I talk to new people all the time to kind of see like what exactly they want out of a new product. Um, and I'll refine it, I'll iterate it, right? So that's probably what's going to happen. You might try to include everything in the kitchen sink, but you're going to probably cut a lot of it out in the next version. Yeah.
100%. And I think that I think a lot of people want to do that refining in a vacuum because it's less embarrassing.
Right.
Um, and vacuums don't refine anything. Like,
Right.
I'm trying to draw an analogy to real life, like how a vacuum works, but I don't know how a vacuum works, so that doesn't work. But like,
I can't help you.
there's,
Yeah.
it's like in this perfect tube that has smooth edges, nothing gets refined. Like, you have
Yeah.
to put the version out there, and okay, so no one engages with it. That tells you something. Like something's off. Or some
Right.
people engage with it and like they hate it for whatever reason. That also tells you something. But if you never put it out there, you can't refine it. And I think
Right.
I like that you highlighted that because we see the same thing. Like people sitting on quiz ideas for, I mean, I can't even tell you how 12 years now. Like there are literally people that are like, I'm still gonna do that. And I'm like, you only live like 7 segments of 12 years in your entire life. Like you waited one of those segments to do a quiz. Something's off.
You know, it's wild because before I set up the quiz, I thought that there was a lot of tech involved.
Mm,
And that's why I put it off for some time, not that long. I would say like maybe a few months. I was really thinking about it. But I thought it was just going to be so complex. And it was so easy to set up that I set up the second quiz like so quickly. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I haven't been doing this for much longer. Um, and to be honest, I already have a few ideas for my next quizzes. So I'm very excited about those.
yeah, I think that's the thing. And I would imagine you see the same thing with like digital products or YouTube or any of these things. Like you get over the hump of doing it and you're like, oh, like I got into social content recently. I put it off forever, way too long. And now I'm just like, oh, it's like a puzzle. You got to
Right.
like get a certain series of shots. You put all the shots together, you cut it in this way. And then obviously it's going to take me a while to get any good at it, but like you just do it. And I think it's like the big
Yeah,
takeaway here.
you're so right. There's so many people that want to start a channel, but what's holding them back is they have no idea what gear they need, what software they're going to need, and they overcomplicate it, which I totally get. Like when I first started, I was also thinking like, I need the best camera, I need the best lighting, the best microphone, when really you probably have most of the stuff you need already. And you can always, just like a digital product, you can always iterate, upgrade over time, right? But 100%,
Yeah.
like you have to start messy. There's no other way to do it. There really isn't.
Yeah, and it's really interesting how like this new wave of creators, it's almost like we had a big reset. Like things got so formal and like I don't know, perfecty
Yeah.
in on YouTube, on any platform where it's like everything's this ultra high resolution and $50,000 recording studio. And now what's doing well and what's popular is like the 15-second TikTok that has, is recorded on a phone with wired iPhone earbuds. Like it's
Yeah,
almost like
it's
humans revolted.
yeah, no, truly. It's funny because like I always tell people I did not even upgrade my gear until I hit 100,000 subscribers. So I used my phone and like a cheap lav mic for, well, I think it was like a year and a half or something like that until I hit that milestone. But like even now I still sometimes record on my phone, and it still does really really well because people care about the value, right? They don't care much about production quality. Sometimes it can help a little bit, but yeah, like it's that, just that raw, even that raw footage, again, like I mentioned, like that human connection, that's what people are resonating with now, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
as long as it's not distracting because you
Right.
can't hear the person or like you're trying to show something on the screen and it's blurry. Like,
Right.
not, but that's like a pretty low bar, you know? Like I feel like most iPhones, unless you're still on like an iPhone 3 or whatever, is probably going to be good enough for that. Like you
Yeah,
don't need it.
absolutely.
And I, in my observations, I feel like your path is the successful path. Like the people who are successful always, it's almost like a, I don't know, it's almost like a superstitious thing in a way where like the people who are successful are the ones that don't buy the fancy gear. Like, but it's
Yeah,
probably not that.
but I think it's, yeah, I think it's because the like a lot of people that try to make everything perfect, they just take so long to get started, right? So I think
Yeah.
it's that delay that also causes more analysis paralysis, overthinking, self-doubt. Um, when again, just like a digital product, you're not going to know what's performing well until you create content. And it's
Yeah.
always going to evolve regardless of how perfect you try to make it to begin with, right? So it's
Yeah.
just do it. Just take action and I promise the analytics will kind of set you in the right direction.
Yeah, I've kind of seen this trend um, amongst our customer base, maybe amongst the broader world, because I mean, our customer base is so diverse. It's almost like it is representation of the sentiment of people, and it does feel like the people that are just moving forward right now are really making it. They're successful. They're making money. There's it's so cliche to be like, oh, there's so much going on in the world, such a whatever, it's a mess. It's probably always a mess if you look back in history, whatever. But especially right now, like what you're saying, like the people that don't get stuck in the analysis paralysis, they're just like, yep, do this, okay. People like that, do it again. They didn't like that, maybe don't do that.
Right.
Not overthinking things of like, I don't even know where that comes from, honestly. Like it's probably a lot of like fear of failure or rejection or embarrassment or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But the people that are just like, yep, do it the next thing, do the next thing, they're doing great, honestly. And then everybody else is complaining about this economy, quote unquote.
Yeah, yeah. And I also tried, I tell people to try to remove emotion and just focus on data, which
Mm.
I still struggle with that now. Like I still, if something like flops, I will still like feel discouraged. I'll be upset, but I've just learned how to keep going, even when something isn't working out. Like I'm about to share something on social media this week about my experience launching my very first workshop
Mm.
and how I was so excited because I had so many people on the wait list. I was, working on it. I finally launched it. And I remember I had like a few sales in the beginning and I was only launching it for a week. And there was like a few days where it was just crickets and I was panicking, but I kept going anyway. I was like, whatever, I'm just going to finish this launch. I'm going to give it my all. And then at the end, I'll take a look at what worked and what didn't. And because I kept showing up anyway, even though I was truly panicking behind the screen, what ended up happening was most people purchased on the last day. So it's funny. I hear like other people talking about this all the time. I'm like, yeah, right. Like if people aren't purchasing by like the first or second day, it's probably a flop. Not true. Most people did purchase on the last day. But if I had just panicked and kind of just shut the whole thing down, I never would have discovered that and learned from that. And even if that didn't happen, I need to do a better job of kind of just like looking at the data and being like, okay, just something didn't work, whether it was the product idea, maybe my landing page, maybe my messaging, my marketing, whatever it may be. But at least I can learn from that because I can do it again, right? Like I have another chance to do it again. No one's stopping me. So yeah.
100%. I feel like it's the emotional overreaction that causes the real problem, the perceived problem at the
Yeah.
beginning of like no one's buying, it's day one, it's day two, is not actually a big problem. And even if no one bought on day three, also not a big problem. You just figure out what went wrong with that one and try again.
Right.
It's that emotional like flip flopping of like, oh, I'm just out now, that I
Yeah.
think really tanks people. And I see so many people go down because of that. It's just like they
Yeah.
never come back.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say if, whoever is starting a digital product business or going through it right now and they're struggling to make sales or they have very few sales, the biggest thing I would say is get support. And that doesn't have to be purchase a course. It could just be finding someone in your circle that, like, whether it's a friend or family member that can kind of like continue to motivate you and encourage you, or to find like an accountability pod, like basically like having a group of people that you can meet up with once a week, once a month, whatever it may be, and just share your goals and then go through what's working and what isn't. Just surrounding yourself with like-minded people really, really helps a lot, because I would say like I give so much credit to just like the people I've met throughout my journey. Join Facebook groups, like even free Facebook groups where similar people are hanging out, and just read their stories, read what they're going through, because then you don't feel so alone. I just feel like this journey can feel very lonely sometimes, but when you're surrounded by support, it just kind of helps you just keep pushing forward.
Well, 100%. I mean, I remember back before there was that big reset that I was talking about, every single coach was part of accountability pod, like a peer group. That was the one commonality. And I think we kind of lost that
Yeah.
with whatever the AI or whatever is happening in the last 5 years. Um, People were like, we're fine. We can go it alone. But like, I think that stat, like I interviewed probably 90 coaches that were successful, and every single one was part of a group. I don't that I don't think that's going to change just because it's 5 years later. Like that's kind of human stuff, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it clearly works, right? I feel
Yeah.
like we need it now more than ever, to be honest. So,
I mean, yeah, especially like in a time where there is fairly rapid change. Like platforms are changing a lot. AI is changing how search works. Like things are changing, and like it's scary. People don't like that. Like
yeah,
I mean, even like I think at some sort of molecular level, like humans don't like things changing. And so yeah, it's easier if you have like the support of a group or like a tribe or whatever, that can work through things together.
yeah.
Um, I think that's perfect advice to wrap up on and leave people with. Where can people go to check out your quiz, check out that course you're talking about, and then can they pre-register for the December one yet?
Yeah, there's a wait list actually. I can send a link for,
Cool.
I don't know if you're where you're posting this, but I can send you the link to join the wait list for that live course that's coming out in December. It's how to create a digital product that will actually sell. So that's what we're going to be covering. And then I can also link my creator style quiz. That one seems to be performing the best. So I'll link that for you if you're considering starting a YouTube channel. And then you can also check out my YouTube channel. So it's just Sandra D. So Sandra and then DI.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Sandra. This is awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.